Hello, everybody. Good morning. Good morning where I am. Good afternoon to, I think, all of you, and good evening to everyone who is watching later. Today, we're going to talk about the power of the palm, the power that is inherent within our own palms, and what we have access to. So, we're going to do a series of different, very simple exercises that involve the utilization of the palms and the application being a means for self-care or client care. So, I wanted to first begin to speak of the positioning of the palms, how not just the power within the palms and within a person, but even the position that they are in can mean different things and can shift their meaning, can shift how they operate energetically and otherwise. So I wanted to ask, and you could just kind of unmute yourself as you think of it, or you could write it in the chat. What do you think of, or what do you feel? Admit. What do you think of, or what do you feel if I were to do this? If I were to place my palms facing out towards you, towards another person, what would this mean for you? And I'll keep my face neutral for now. What does this mean when I do this?
Feels like blocking energy, like you're protecting yourself.
Very good. So blocking energy, like I'm protecting myself. It's like I'm putting a barrier between you, whether it's a screen or an actual person in front of me, and my body. What else comes to mind when you see a person, or me in this instance, hold my palms up like this, facing out towards you? What does this mean to you? How does it make you feel?
Your fingers aren't relaxed. You're actually extending your fingers to be able to do that.
Neato. I like that. Interesting. Right. So
I'm
there's
not sure what that means, but I feel like it's almost like an extra effort on your part to be able to have to stretch those palms out, like the fingers out.
Interesting. So the person, good, good, good. So not just what it makes you feel and what it might bring up inside of you, but there's an observatory going on too. So observing within you, you notice in the person doing it that there's some kind of tension maybe inherent in my fingers being a little bit more stiff. What else comes to mind? Beckett?
Yeah, it makes me actually think you're sending energy because you're being very specific with your hands and yeah.
Very good. I love that it can mean so many different things. Okay, so with the hands outstretched, palms up, facing out could mean sending of energy. Yeah, in Reiki, right? This is Chudio. This is actually means treatment. It means this is where we're actually doing the treatment. So very, very good. What else comes to mind? And I like the diversity of all the things it can mean. So there are no wrong answers. I guess what could shift it a lot is if I were to like maybe do something with my head, if I were to cock it to the side, or if I were to slam my eyes or scowl a little, or if I were to like soften or close my eyes, that could change its meaning too. So then, in addition to what palms in a certain position might mean, we also get to take in that whole person, and that can change the meaning too. Yeah. Anything else come to mind? It's like throwing spaghetti on the wall. There are no wrong answers. Yes, Stephanie.
To me, it looks like you're saying stop.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Stop in the name of love. Yes, stop. Absolutely, stop. Anything else? Very good. All right, now what if the palms were upturned? And because the camera is such, I'm kind of lifting them up in an awkward manner, but let's just say maybe they would be waist high. What if my palms were just upturned like that? And imagine they're at my waist. And even in looking at me, you could close your eyes too and do it in your body as well. What happens when your hands are upturned? Maybe if your eyes are closed or if you were looking up or down, what does it feel like or look like to see somebody with their hands upturned?
I think it's like holding space.
Hmm, wonderful. Like holding space.
Whether if you're working with somebody or whatever, just holding space and being open to receiving information. Yeah.
That
Very,
was my word, receiving.
mm.
Looks like you're trying to receive something.
It feels like it too. It feels like if I'm here, if I'm really putting my focus or intention at the level of my palms, there could be a little bit of weight there. Yeah. Anything else? Anyone else? All right, good. So hands out might mean that we're sending, that we're transmitting, that we are giving. It could also mean like, hey, this is my space. It could be creating like a barrier or a blockage. With palms upturned so far, it could be this receptivity, this receiving, this holding of space, holding of something. Anything else before I switch my palms again? And there are no wrong answers. And if for some reason, I'll turn on the chat too, actually. I just realized it's not on. Yeah, because if you don't, good, good, good. Cindy, there looks like you are saying, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so those are from before. Very good. I'll keep an eye on the
So,
chat.
sometimes, this is just for me personally, but sometimes outreached palms like that, it's more of like it centers me. Like this is where I am at right now, and I look at my, this is where I'm at.
Hmm.
It helps to center and ground me to reality of what I have am sitting in right at that moment.
Very, very good. So the observance of one's own palm can be grounding. Yes? Yeah. You're pointing to your left hand. Do you tend to point to your left hand when you get that feeling, or are both true? Oh, you're on mute again. Oh, you're on mute. You have to unmute.
I think it's actually my right, but I think it's more because like even if I'm driving and I'd be like, this is where I'm at right now,
Ah, okay, okay.
you know,
Very good.
yeah. So I mean I can do both, but I do tend to think I look at my right one.
Very, very good. You know, you've been in my live class. I always say write everything down. The minute we know anything about ourselves, the minute we observe something, we write it down. We say it aloud, we share it with another, and we write it down. Hmm. Great. Stephanie, you're unmuted. Wait, were you? Oh no, you just
Oh,
muted. Were you going to add something? All right, good, good, good. You were saying with the storm coming in, talk about an amount of energy coming into a whole town or area, right? It's a very different way of experiencing energy. All right, groovy. So we got that, we got this. Now, what if the palms were down? And by down, I mean, again, it's awkward because we're on a video call. So I'm going like this so you can see. But in actuality, I could be standing with just my hands like that, with my palms towards the earth. I could be sitting and try it right now too, as you're sitting in a chair, if you are, to place your palms on your lap or to just hover above. What does it say or feel like? Or if you were to observe somebody, what does it say or feel like to have the palms turned down towards the earth? And if you don't want to speak aloud, you could type in the chat too. Whatever comes to mind. What comes to mind?
to me, I feel like it's centering.
Hmm. I like that. Very centering. Okay.
You can be receiving energy from the earth.
Oh my gosh. Totally. Okay. Yeah, that's powerful. What's really cool is I don't know if you all are doing this right now, but when people speak, it can ignite the sensation, right? As we begin to like if, and you tell me if this is true for you, somebody offers up their version of how they experience it. And as we locate it in our own body, we might even start to feel that. So when you said that, I was like, ooh, yeah, I feel that earth. Yeah. Or just like with my hands upturned. So very, very good. What else do you feel? Right. So you could be grounding or you could be receiving. That reminds me of this. It could be a blockage or it could be ascending, a transmitting. Anything else come to mind with palms towards earth? And those who are watching later to think, think. Does anybody feel in this position or in any of the positions so far that there is a kind of ignition or an igniting of energy? Can you feel any like tinglies or heat or coldness or anything shift in the hands when you're facing down, up, or out? Beckett.
Uh, yeah, all of the positions I notice my hands will start heating up, and I feel the energy moving whichever direction my palm is.
And do you feel a difference when it is out, down, or up?
That's an interesting question.
Mhm. Yeah, so try it
I
out. Yeah, go
Yeah, I
ahead.
feel a difference when it's out.
When it's out here.
Yeah, but it's more of an outreaching. Like I can feel it reaching out versus coming in. It's
Hmm.
very interesting.
Very good, very good. So for all of you, continue to feel into that. Feel into the diversity of the experience when your hands are in a position, when it shifts from position to position, how do you feel different? I brought this up before. I think all of you have been in certain classes of me with me, where I've brought up interoception or intraception, two different things, but where we're really kind of taking note of, there's two ways to interpret this word. One, it's an internal process, the ability to be able to interpret a digestive process, an autonomic process, breathing, right? That ability. Oh my God. Also, oh my gosh, I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. That's interoception. We all have that. We have, I believe, and if somebody doesn't, let me say that too. But many of us have the capacity or the ability to be able to perceive when we're hungry or thirsty. We can't say all because I'm not all people, but that could also be not just a digestive process or an internal autonomic process. It could also be the diversity of my sensation, of my experience. So for me, it's very important that I continue to cultivate my curiosity and do very simple, subtle gestures and examine the diversity of my experience within. Mhm. Okay, very good. And then one last thing. So we went out, we went up, we went down. And what about when the palms meet together? What do you feel when palms meet? This is prayer position to some people. This is Gasho in Reiki, if you do Reiki. In Sanskrit, this is Anjali, which is, divine offering. What does this feel like or look like when palms meet?
For me, it's grateful.
Mm, beautiful. Yeah, grateful. Hmm. What else? You could all try it. You could try it at different levels. So this is kind of like now we can move it to different areas. Right now it's up. This is my favorite place to put it, to put my prayer position, is to rest it on my chin and to have it at the level of my throat. Could also be that my head is bowed and that my fingertips are touching at the level of my, maybe like pineal gland, right? Pituitary. if I were to go in, if you were to go within, right? Perhaps it can rest there. It might be different at the level of my heart. It might be different if my elbows are out and really pushing my palms together, or if my elbows are relaxed and I'm making I'm making contact, my inner arms, my elbows to my ribs, and that awareness. What else comes to mind when you see this position or feel this in your own body?
It's like a quieting of everything that
Mm,
you've experienced. You're bringing it to a not necessarily a close, but
mm,
a period or maybe a semicolon. I don't know.
mm. Please write that down. That's so good. That's so, so good. A
Yeah,
period.
I noticed the same thing as Andrea, but I would describe it as really just bringing my focus in, bringing my focus in and being still at the present time.
Beautiful. So bringing the focus in and still. And again, for everybody, write this down. And those who are watching later, write down how you feel. I feel like it's one of the best things we can do is really, and it's perhaps one of my favorite things to do besides connectivity and sharing time with people. My my favorite thing to do is to get very, very quiet with myself and notice the intricacies of what rises and what falls within me. Um, the thoughts that dance, the feelings that swell, that we may be that aware of what is going on within, um, and how by my awareness of what is happening within, what is happening without, what is happening around me shifts. It's changeable just by going within. Yeah. These are really, really good. Everything everyone said. Anything else? Any other spaghetti on the wall of what any of those positions? You might be thinking of another one. Ooh, Rochelle says yes. Peace. Peace. Beautiful. All right. We're complete. Okay. If something else comes to mind, just write it in the chat. And we can always revisit as we move through this class too. Um, so holding that and moving on, something important to note. It is said that energy is neither created nor destroyed. So energy is neither created nor destroyed. So this energy thing we're talking about, this energy has a timelessness about it. It has to be timeless, possibly infinite, if it's neither created nor destroyed. Or perhaps, if one is like, no, I don't believe in infinity, I don't believe in timelessness, there's definitely a start time. That's fine too. We all have our diversity of experience, our diversity of understanding, our diversity of belief. And in my opinion, they're all right. They're all good because they're ours. And so whatever we believe is good. It's just a matter of what it is. So perhaps if one is like, yeah, no, it had to have begun at some point. So perhaps then we believe that the universe has a starting and ending point, maybe. Maybe it is, maybe it's linear, maybe it's not linear. And again, everything I say aloud, let it drop in and just consider, yeah, that makes sense. I don't believe that. And just take note of the rise and fall within you as I say words. So either, yes, I believe in infinity, timelessness. Don't know what that means, but I sure do get a sense that that's true. Okay. Or no, there is a beginning, there's an end, there's some sense of linearness. I can feel that. That might be true for you. So perceiving self in the world, what is true? One might conjecture, one might believe that the energy may be at least, maybe it's cyclical, right? So it's not linear, it's cyclical. but it did have a start point. That could be true. So what we can say and perhaps agree on is energy cannot be destroyed, right? This is physics. And what I love about this concept is scientists again and again are trying to prove it and disprove it. And it's one of the laws, it's the law of the conservation of energy, or the first law of thermodynamics. This is something that is not disprovable. It continues to be proven again and again. And if we think about time in a linear way, this is really not that old of a discovery. It's like 1840s, right? So not that long ago. Not that long ago. We were in the 1900s, right? So many of us were alive in the 1900s, right? So that suggests this first law of thermodynamics that suggests and has proven that energy converts into something else. Okay, so that's an important word. It converts to something else. If it doesn't die, then does it change? Right? Is it transmutable? And some of you, not all of you, some of you have taken my level 1 class, reflexology for trauma and addiction. And yeah, a couple of you have taken that first class. In level 2, we begin to hold a lot of these questions. And one of the questions that we hold is we begin to evaluate the question, is my energy, what I define as my energy, is it transferable? What I'm feeling right now, if I were with a client, for instance, is what I feel transferable? Can it be felt by another? Is it transmutable? Can something change within self or another, depending on my state of mind, my state of heart? And it's just a question to consider. Right? If you're giving some of you are reflexologists, if you're giving a reflexology session or a Reiki session, or, whatever, people give in different ways. We all give in different ways, whether you're a practitioner or not. Is my state, what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, where I come from, can that be felt by another? And again, just write it down as a question to really evaluate and to consider for self. And I bring this up also because, I want to acknowledge the power of energy, and I believe it's a great responsibility. It's a great responsibility. It is my responsibility to continue to cultivate good, honest, clean energy. So I believe my state, my energetic state, does affect myself. It does affect my body, what I believe, what I say, what I feel. My energetic state will affect my mind, my heart, my body. It can affect another. It can affect a room full of people. It can affect, in my opinion, it can affect the whole. Just like every cell in my body can be affected by a thought or a negative thought pattern or belief, every cell is listening to that. I believe in the same way, this energy thing that is neither created nor destroyed, that we're all a part of, can also be felt by all things, by the greater whole, by the world. So it's my responsibility to continue to become the best me possible. And that's a lifelong, who knows how long, that's a lot. That's going to take a while. I got a lot to undo. I got a lot to unfold. I got a lot to let go of. Um, but it's good work. Yeah. Okay. So it's a great responsibility, this energy thing, if it is transferable. Another thing to say, one more thing before I'm going to bring up one more thing, ask a couple more questions for us to hold, and then we're going to do some exercises. So something else to consider is that energy can either, and this is energy physics versus classical physics. This is energy physics. Energy can behave. It can act as a particle or as a wave. Very interesting experiment is we have found, I learned this from someone named Joseph Shelby, Selby, who is an author, a meditator within the Yogananda tradition. But it's been talked about and explored in many. These are the books I love to read, so it's been explored by many a person, um, scientist or otherwise. So this idea in one of these experiments observed that energy or matter, when I'm looking at something, it behaves um, like a particle, right? So I could be looking at this cup. This is matter, right? We could all see this. It's hard. I could touch it, put it down. When I observe it, it behaves like a particle, the semblance of matter. In the not observing of the matter, the very same object behaves and is expressed as a wave. So it's a very different way of perceiving a thing, right? So again, if I don't observe it, it's behaving like a wave. So this is quantum mechanics, right? This is called wave particle duality, this idea that one thing could actually be two totally separate things. So the first question is, do you believe this? Do you believe this is possible? And just write it down. So it's going to be something to think about and to consider. And then I want you to hold these questions. So write them down too, and we're going to hold them for the rest of the time that we're together. The questions are, is energy transferable? Can it be transferred? Can it be transferred? Okay. Is energy transferable? That's number one. Number two, and we're going to hold these. We're not going to answer them right now. I want you to hold them on a piece of paper in your heart, in your mind while we're doing stuff. Next question, number two, there's four. Number two, is energy transmutable? Does it have the potential to change something? Can it change? Can it change self? Can it change another? Can it change in and of itself? Is energy transmutable? Number three, very curious question, one I've been contemplating as of late. How old is this energy? How old is this energy inside of me? How old is my energy? How long has this been around for? If it's neither created nor destroyed, how long has this been here? And again, this is beyond what we believe or don't believe. We have to I get to suspend my ideas of what I think I believe, to hold a question long enough to arrive upon a potential. I don't even want to call it an answer because I think it should change daily. I should hold the questions long enough that each day they begin to have more information, more possibility. Okay. And then finally, the last question would be, is this mine? Is this my energy? So, in my Reiki classes, a lot of times, not a lot of times, one of the things that we speak to when we're learning about our own energy and when being with someone else's, say it's a client, there are levels, energetic levels, layers. There are energetic layers around a person, around us all, right? So those layers, there can be disruption, right? There can be something that just came in and kind of got stuck there, right? You might say, "How you doing today?" to someone. They're like, "I don't know, I just feel off," right? Just feel off. Something's off. That offness, if we were really to tap in, might be a little further out. It's not really inside somebody. It kind of feels like it's hanging around them. Like, God, I just have this yucky feeling, right? So these layers, these energetic layers within and around us, there can be disruption. So the question then becomes, and the question I ask of my students is, where within the layers are there? So if we think about the furthest layers, could be somebody getting a job and it's like, oh my God, this boss of mine is like, this is hard. And then maybe a week later, 2 weeks later, it just starts to disrupt that first layer, right? Because just like this, that layer of protection, it's almost like these layers around us offer a means of energetic protection. So if someone starts to come in to that and it disrupts for whatever reason, that can affect our mood, say, for instance. There are theories that suggest that if it really kind of gets in to deeper levels, it actually is penetrating the layers, these energetic layers or auric layers, until finally it can even affect like, oh my God, my shoulder. Oh my God, my heart really hurts today. And then finally, if I've been holding on to something and that disruption has been there long enough and I haven't tended to it, suddenly I'm like, oh my God, I got this digestive thing, I got IBS, I got this, I got that, I got the other. So that disruption has penetrated all the layers and arrived at this physical body and has even gone within. So my perception of disease or dis-ease is the layers of disruption that energy has penetrated and has finally gotten to this physical form. It's my belief that those can be undone and not undone, that's not the right word, can are transmutable. They can shift. There is an undoing and unfolding and unfurling. There is something, an evolution that can occur at the level of our cells that can shift what has been that which was once disrupted. Okay, so we're gonna go into some exercises, but before we do, I just said a lot of words. So I always like to stop once I've said a lot of words and just say, are there any questions, any insights, any ideas that you want to say aloud before we move into our exercises? And I see another puppy. All right. What are you feeling? Is this making sense? Is it totally like, is this interesting? Is it making sense? Is it totally tripped out and you don't believe it? Like, what is that first sense? Yeah, Heather. Or you might not, yeah.
Well, when you were talking about the cup
Hmm.
and you were talking about the semblance of particles and observing the cup.
Yeah,
But then I kind of missed something when you were talking about not observing it as like a wave. Like I guess I was not connecting how
beautiful.
what that meant.
Yeah, totally. It makes no sense. It's good. Yeah, good question. It's so it enters the realm, in my opinion, too. It enters the realm of where I almost have to depart upon current reasoning. I have and which is there's a conundrum there, right? In the non-observing of a thing, the
Mhm.
observance itself becomes different. I think it was called one of the and what I'll do is I'll put it in our group and I'll even put it on the YouTube description. There's something called, I believe if I'm remembering it right, it's called the double slit theory, where you observe energy going through these two slits and how they behave. And this is one of the ways that they discovered the observance of a wave rather than a particle is through these two separate slits. So I will remember, I'm going to write that down to include that because that'll give you more information on what that actually means in more of a scientific exploration.
Okay,
But
great.
I
Thank
will
you.
totally, yeah, I will put that on for sure. Any other questions or ideas or insights? Groovy, groovy. Okay. So as we move through the exercises, hold those questions, not even just for this little time we're together, but into your day, into your night. Maybe there are ways that you could just hold one of those questions as you go for a walk or as you are talking to somebody else, thinking about your own energy, somebody else's. What do you feel? And start to dance and start to explore what it might mean for you on a sensorial level and intellectual level too. All right, so palms in the position of receptivity. So we're going to begin with the palms upturned. And you can close your eyes. My hands are up like this. I'm actually going to lower them. So they're going to be my elbows are really, really relaxed. They're touching my body, my inner arms touching my body. The back of my hands are on my thighs. So I am in a position, my gaze can be lowered or my eyes can be closed. So as you prefer. And the directive, there is I receive or I trust. So you're going to do two things. You have a literal position that you're putting your palms into, they are upturned. The second is a word or a phrase of your choosing. Let us first explore something in the realm of like I receive or I trust or I am here, something like that. So I'll be quiet, take a moment to find your word, what resonates for you, and you'll just hold that word and this position for the next minute. And now I'm going to place one palm. I'll do my right palm, doesn't matter which one, to my heart. So the palm is making contact with my outer body at the level of my heart, and the other hand is on top. My gaze is lowered or eyes are closed, and my head is bowed just slightly. And again, find one word for yourself that resonates and reminds you of this gesture. How does it deeply feel within? Is it protective? Is it humbling? Is it warm? Is it peaceful? And find that word and hold it for the next minute. So your word can be something not that you repeat again and again, but that you're so aware of that once you have it, you can let it go and then just feel the sensation of your body in space. And if the mind starts to drift, you just simply bring back the word or the short phrase. And for all of you who know about the back body, being in one's back body, soften into it now. So your occipital ridge, the back of your neck is relaxed. You're inside the back of your heart, the back of your eye sockets. Your jaw is loose, your neck is free, and you have nowhere to go, nothing to do, nobody to be. The last thing to remember with a gesture utilizing the palms and a simple directive or a word is nothing is ever lost. I was I was watching the movie this weekend. I believe it's called Source, The Power Within. It's Joe Dispenza's documentary about the research he's doing on meditation. And one of the things he said, and he's not the first to say it, but I really heard it when he said it, is no meditation is ever wasted. Even if you're like, oh, that was a bad one, or oh my God, I'm so distracted. Oh my God, my mind won't stop. It's all good. Nothing is lost. There's no bad meditation. There is no bad um, moment, I believe, when I'm in contact with myself. Now you're going to move it so one palm, whatever palm you want, it'll be my right hand, is going to be facing out. And then I'm going to bring the other one, my left hand, to face up. I'm going to relax them both so that my hand that is facing out is at the level of my heart. My other one, which is upturned, is on my lap. This is, some refer this as the Abhaya Mudra, where there is one out and one upturned. These again are all just words, so we can have our own words for what our body feels like in space. We don't have to use somebody else's. And again, consider a word or a short phrase that comes in when you're in this position. What is this position in body? Like if you were to do this, what would it ignite in you? Right? Is there a certain level of protection, receptivity, courageousness? And go ahead and sit with that for a moment and feel into what it is for you. Hold the word just long enough to really feel into it and its truth for you. And then you'll let it go and just feel into the position. If your mind starts to distract, you'll bring it back. You're going to bring it so the hand that was upturned will now face out and do one of two things. You'll either explore what this is like for you. And again, finding that word, just like we explored earlier, what you said aloud. What does this embody? What does your body feel? What is it doing? What is that word or short phrase? And in this moment, be aware of the next gesture. So for me, what I'm wanting to do is actually move my hands and clear away. So you can explore. It's in speaker mode, so everyone can only see me. So you can do whatever you want. And I'm just going to push around my space and feel what it's like to move the energy around. Let it be known there are water particles everywhere that cannot be seen. So, in your imagination, in your mind's eye, knowing you are moving this energy, or perhaps that resonates, these water particles that are in the air, and that you're just sensing what it's like to move your palms out like a pushing gesture in front of you, beside you, down, up, behind. And finally, you'll end in this position here. I will do it as I said, where I like to rest it on my chin and my elbows are really, really relaxed. If you have, if you're sitting down, you got pillows near you, it's nice to have some pillows that are just completely holding you up so you're not efforting in any way. And here, let a word emerge, let it come up. So it doesn't have to be an intellectual thing. What is the word that comes up? And hold it just long enough so you know it's true, and then you let it go. Some of you brought up gratitude. Some refer to this position as a prayer position. So allow a sentence to come in that resonates with your heart that you can offer to self and others. The phrase that comes to mind is that phrase, may all beings everywhere be happy and free. Some of you might know that, may all beings everywhere be happy and free. So for me, I'm going to hold that one. So find your phrase and you're just going to repeat it in your head, or you're all muted. You could say it aloud too, and just as a whisper as you hold this position. Take that phrase and hold it now at the level of your heart. In this way, you might want to actually bring your hands a little further apart so you could feel the energy between them right in front of your heart, and continue to hold that phrase that you repeat or whisper aloud. So you're gaining momentum, you're fueling that, building that within your own heart. And I'm going to quietly, gently open my eyes so that I could see between my fingertips. And if you let your eyes be very relaxed and you look between the fingers, you may also sense or see a little bit of that energy or color. Keep the phrase going. This in and of itself can be a way to transmit that kind of peaceful thought or that wish for self or another or the world. Another way, should you want to kind of send it or feel that expression of sending, breath can be a powerful way to kind of complete a gesture. So you could even just hold it to your mouth, all that energy that you held within your palms, and just blow it out, saying it one last time. And my hands also made a gesture like this. So that's sending it out to the world. Finally, you're going to bring your palms. I always bring the base of my palm. This is called palming the eyes. Again, many of you have done this before with me. And you're just placing this whole lower palm on the top of your eyelid. And I'm going to place my elbows on my desk. So both palms, my fingers and my upper palm are on my forehead, right? These are the frontal lobes, right? Right and left side are encased, are enclosed like two wings. And then the palm itself, lower palm, is over my eyes. And I will let you know when a minute is up. And we'll do it for 1 minute. And it's been 1 minute, so you go ahead and let that go. And you might find it's very bright, so you can open your eyes slowly. And we're going to do one more thing. So the last exercise we'll do is called anatomical, well, I call it anatomical palming. So this is something, and one of you who is here was in this class. I teach a class called The Fundamentals of Foot and Hand Reflexology. And we meet every Saturday for 6 weeks in January and early. Hi. I just heard a spoon. You were in my class. You're like ding, 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 ding. We do it it begins in January, 6 weeks to February, and we do this, what I call anatomical palming. We do it in my other class, some other classes too, but that's my online class where we explore it. So what it is it's a way of learning about our own anatomy and learning where that anatomy is in the reflexology map. So in anatomical palming, we are using our palms and we're placing our palms on our actual body, and then we're placing it on the position within our hands or our feet or someone else's. Okay, so we'll begin with let's begin with the shoulder. So my right palm to my left shoulder. So this is my left shoulder. Left shoulder. Most of us know what our shoulder is. That's an easy one. And what we do is we take our left hand and we discover that our left shoulder is underneath this fifth digit, but it's also, there are connections to the scapula, which is below the fourth. So there are rotator cuff muscles, for instance, that will bridge these two. So technically under here, we're just looking at the anterior and posterior deltoid. But if I want to come in, if I'm having shoulder pain, it might be in a little bit more. So this palm is shoulder. This palm comes, or you can do it with your fingertips, to the area of my left hand. So this is where my left shoulder is. If you're a reflexologist, you already know this. If you're not, this is where it is. And it'd be the same on the other hand. If you were doing the right shoulder, it would be the right hand. And so you'd place it at your shoulder and you would place it beneath the fourth and fifth digits where the metacarpal heads are. And you always do the dorsum, the top of the hand, and the palmar aspect, because that's the anterior and the posterior aspects of the body, right? So we always do both sides. You can take the palm of your hand and place it on your heart or even thymus, right? That's where it is in my body, my anatomical body. Then in my hands, and if you've seen my map, there are two ways we can look at the heart. Some people place it here, right, as well as the thymus. Some people place it here. In the feet, it's much easier because you don't have this thumb distorting things and having to make that call. But you would place your palm, and whenever I place a palm on a reflexology area, I use my solar plexus reflex area. So I use my solar plexus reflex area and I place it over the area in the reflexology map. So when I do holdings for clients or for self, that's what I'm using. So I also use my thumb and my fingers and I do techniques, but when I'm energetically being with an area of the body, I use my solar plexus reflex area. So I hold that. I could also do my right hand to my left lung area, and the lungs come pretty high, right? And then I can place that over this area, which is the left lung, and I could place the whole palm over that area. Or if I wanted to do it with a reflexology method, more similar to like thumb walking or finger walking, I can do that too. But the point is that I locate it in my body and I locate it in the map. I could take my right palm, or no, let's do left palm and place it over my liver. So my liver is a very large organ that's underneath my right chest area. It goes a little bit on the, I'm sorry, my right breast chest area, right below under my rib cage is my liver. That's on the right side of my body. There's a little tail of it that also comes to the center part of my body and a little bit off to the left side. But if I take my left palm or my right palm, place it over that rib cage and say, this is where my liver is. This is my liver. I teach a class weekly for people who are not reflexologists. It's a self-care reflexology class at a clinic I work at. And oftentimes a lot of people, we don't even know where these organs are, right? We've kind of, there's that departure where a doctor might say, oh, there's something wrong there. And maybe then we start to learn where things are. So it's my belief that part of healing has to do with really educating ourselves to what's going on within our body, both anatomically and physiologically. So I'm holding that, and then I get to in my right palm, go over that liver reflex area, either with my fingers or I could also do it with my palm. Again, it's a palming class. We might as well do it with our palm because we're palming. So it's a very different way of being with an organ, right? In reflexology, there's this sense, and I must be very careful that I'm not working an area. I'm not working someone's liver in order to help them or fix them. I got to let go of all that efforting and just be with that part of the body, much like I would in a very reverent way with myself. So I can do it with thumb walking or finger walking or any other reflexological gesture, but I also want to be sure that I'm not efforting, I'm not overdoing, I'm not distorting my body. I'm getting to a place where I'm so relaxed, so aligned, so grounded, so not thinking about what's for dinner, and I'm just listening to the tissue. Very, very meditative for the practitioner as well. Or I can simply place my palm over. And we'll do one more, which is the stomach on the left side of the body. So on the left side of the body, underneath that chest breast area, under that rib cage is the stomach. There's also the pancreas there, the spleen there. But if I were to put my whole palm on that rib cage, I'm over that stomach area. And then I can take my right palm again and place it over this whole area of my hand, or you could also work it reflexologically, si tú quieras, if you want. Or I could even hold it and return a gesture, much like the one of that prayer position. I can also do it in this way for self-care. Okay, really good. All right, so we just hit, and I always like to honor our hour. We just hit the hour. So I wanted to open it up for any questions, insights, ideas, anything that came up, or as we were moving through those exercises, was there anything that came in about energy for you? What did you feel? What did you sense? How do you feel right now? Heather.
The palm things we were doing when we were doing the one on palm up on the leg and then out. It was weird. It was almost like I was ping ponging. I felt like a ping ponging, like between this and this and this, like, and then then it would get stuck, and then it would almost like go back and forth the other way.
Gorgeous. And you wrote this down?
Hmm?
Wrote it down?
No, I didn't actually.
Write it down. Very
And then
good.
the other thing was when we did the thing with the palms on the frontal lobe, I felt aching. I thought, well, maybe it's just the position, but it didn't matter if I changed a little bit. I felt like aching almost in my like palms or my solar plexus area. And so I did lift it off a little bit so that there was a little bit more room for movement between that. And then I really did like that where when you had us do that and then separate.
Nice.
that little bit of um, energy coming through there. So it was pretty cool.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Heather. And I would try it again with that. That's such a, with any sensation. And again, I think it's so, I always say information or, data. It's like data. Everything we figure out, everything we sense about ourselves, all the imagery that comes in is important, and write it down. That it comes through our arm onto a page that we can see it is a vital, in my opinion, a vital process of a vital piece to any healing process. And also, and let me know later too, try this again later tonight, see what happens if you're further away. And you could go quite far, right? Really good. Thank you, Heather. Anybody else? How was that for you? Any pieces of it?
When
Steph?
we were doing the palms over the eyes, I had I had my nervous Nellie next to me here because of the thunderstorm, and she just wouldn't stop pawing and being in my face. So I did it to her. I did one of my eyes and did one of hers, and it actually calmed her down.
Oh, that is so beautiful,
It
Stephanie. Oh
was,
my God.
it was hard, her nervous energy, and I'm trying to calm it. So it was really good to do it together with her.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
Totally. And animals are so receptive. So even I love that you did that. That's so beautiful, Stephanie. And especially with this storm and the thunder that's happening, about to come into New Hampshire. So really good. Very good. Thank you for that. Anything else? Rochelle, yes, there you are. I appreciate how I gotta use my I gotta use my glasses. I appreciate how using the anatomical reflexology method brought awareness to those points. Yeah, I encourage you to explore that even more. Um, yeah, or come to my fundamental class in January and we'll do it together. It's really no matter how many times I do it, and especially even if I think, oh yeah, even if I think I know my body, I know where my liver is, and I got this reflexology. I've been doing this for blah 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 year, all that stuff. It's like there's always something I learn from making contact with my body and then bringing it to the reflexology map. So cool. Thank you for saying that. Awesome. It's good to see you. I mean, you see your name, and glad you're here. Yeah, who else? Heather, were you going to add something? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Good, good, good.
This is more of like the notes that I was writing down when you were talking about feeling off and the layers of disruption, the levels of the cell shifting. And I know that you do work with people with trauma and addiction, and it seems daunting. It seems very daunting for somebody that has the layers of disruption. Like, when is it ever going to be? I don't know. It made me feel like a daunting feeling, and I'm glad that we did those. Did some of those moves because it did help to kind of move things a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, so anyway, that
Well,
was it just felt a little daunting, you know.
totally. I love that you said it, and I want to also hold it along the other thing you said about the ping pong, because it is daunting. If I have a book, I'm like, oh my God, this book, it's daunting. There's too much. There's too many. I read a lot of scientific work. It's daunting. Like, why am I so obsessed with science? Like, I'm not that, my brain, it's so daunting. And yet, what is not daunting is the moment that we sit in silence and we observe a singular act, a singular word. And this is why I want you to write it down. Just that I felt it was so simple, the opposite of daunting. Yeah. You said I just felt like a ping pong going back and forth, right? And then there was a flutter of emotion that came in, right? And then you said, and then it went the other direction. That is not daunting. And it's my belief when working with people, when working with self, when working with anybody, regardless of if we identify as somebody who comes from anything, we all need each other, in my opinion. And so being with somebody and doing a singular gesture, a singular word, and if they start to feel overwhelmed, I think I mentioned this to you before, maybe, and some of you also may have heard it, is that when someone starts to become overwhelmed or hyper aroused in a session, I say, where do you feel that in your body? They go, I don't know, I just feel like my heart is racing. Okay, go ahead and place your hand on your heart. And I place my hand on their reflexology area for their heart. And I say aloud, I'm at the level of your heart in your reflexology map. Do you feel that? Do you feel where I am in that left foot? That's where I am right now. And I take my solar plexus point, I place it at the level of their heart reflex area, and I say, that's where I am. Do you feel that? And I get them in their body. And I get them not just in their heart, because where's my heart? I can't even see it. I get them in their feet in that reflexology map. And again, because you're right, life can feel daunting. The only way it becomes less so is when I bring it down to a singular act, a singular word, a singular sensation. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Yeah. Thank you, Rochelle. Yeah. Yep. Thank you, everybody. Absolutely. Yeah. And you said preventing a scare. This is, I like that word prevent or prevention. This idea of, I feel okay today. Doesn't mean that I will be in a minute or an hour or tomorrow. And so may I continue to cultivate these things, these awarenesses. I had I mentioned I teach Reiki, an intuitive Reiki class, and what we do is everyone that has moved through that class, some are graduated, they graduated years ago or last year or whatever. We get together every 3 months, so we get together quarterly, and sometimes I lead the circle and we do a little meditation and we send Reiki to each other. But I've made it so that people that have moved through the program, they're now leading. And one of the women in the class led the other day this incredible meditation utilizing with us thinking about earth and ether and air and just how we were bringing it into our nose and our mouth and looking outside and just doing it. It was the simplest thing ever, and so effective. I wrote down everything she said and I slapped it on my glass door, and now I stand there in the morning and just so we have these little things that can help. And it's my experience that if I wake up in the morning and I say, yeah, I'm going to do that, I'm not going to rush to my computer. I'm not going to rush to my phone. I'm going to do the slow thing over there with the tea. I'm going to do the slow thing over there that only takes 5 minutes, actually, that I just learned from Donna. How cool, right? And even just what we've done today, these little gestures. Anything else? Anything else before we close today? Okay, good. We are so used to, yep, we are so used to giving healing to our clients. This way of thinking is amazing, bringing some of that back to ourselves. Absolutely. We must. It's the only, yeah. Yes, we must. That I love that phrase, as above, so below, like as we give, so we receive, right? So it can't just be one-sided in any direction, that it's more holistic. And I thank you for writing that. That's so good. Okay, you got it. Mm, beautiful. So good. Thank you for everything written there. Thank you for everything spoken. Are there any last words you want to say aloud before we close? Yeah, with my glasses.
It seems doable, you know, like the short amount of time that we did it. That doesn't seem daunting to someone than just like going to like a meditation class or having to go somewhere and do something. You can literally stop what you're doing at any time and you can teach it. You could do it with someone else or you can do it for yourself. And it's impactful.
Thank you so much. So good. Yeah, this is something you can teach your clients, that palming of the eyes. And I always like to say, like, I'll keep time for you. You could do it at the end of a session even and say, we could do it, now together. So you know what it feels like. It's one of the top self-care tools I teach. And when I teach it, I usually say, if you can, set your alarm 3 times a day. And when those alarms go off, you stop everything you're doing. You stop that email and you literally just go like this, and your timer goes for 1 minute. It's so much more doable to do a minute. And on a cellular level, we're saying something vastly important. Okay, thank you, Chantel, for giving your time and insight. Very calming and freeing. Thank you. It's so good to see you. It's so good to see all of you. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, much love. I will post this also for others to. Oh, I love all the hearts. That's one of my favorite things when someone presses a button and all the hearts fly up. Ah, okay. May you have a beautiful day. I will post this on our group, our private group, and I will put it on YouTube too for others to be able to experience this as well. And I will also put that I love it. Now you all are doing your hearts. I love it. I'll also put that experiment, the double slit experiment as well. You all are awesome. Have a day. Have the day that you deeply desire and need. And I'll see you next time. Bye.